Welcome to EP Daily. Today on the show, we've got the latest from Gamescom.
Plus, Warhammer hits the football field in Blood Bowl 2.
Touchdown! And then we flame on with our review of the Fantastic Four movie. Also coming up, we have more Fantastic Four action with a look back at the rise of the Silver Surfer video game. We have a gift for you with our review of Jason Bateman's new thriller, and much more today on EP Daily. Brought to you by EB Games. I'm your host, Victor Lucas, bringing you the latest in everything cool every single day. The massive Gamescom event has begun in Cologne, Germany. Let's find out what's been going on in the rundown. Microsoft has made some huge announcements at Gamescom. First up, Halo Wars 2 was officially announced and is coming to the Xbox One and Windows 10 next year. This might be a bit of a surprise given that the first game didn't sell as well as the other Halo games despite critical praise. That game was developed by the now defunct Ensemble Studios, and the sequel is being handled by Total War developer The Creative Assembly. Killer Instinct Season 3 will continue the fight in March 2016. The new pack adds 8 new characters, including Rash from the cult classic Battletoads. Speaking of the number 3, the new Crackdown game has been renamed Crackdown 3 instead of just Crackdown as originally announced. This firmly cements it as a sequel to the original games and not a reboot, and judging by the first gameplay trailer, the classic look and feel are back. The environments will be 100% destructible and the vehicles will transform. Crackdown 3 will launch next year. Also launching next year is the Xbox One exclusive Quantum Break. The long-awaited game will finally arrive on April 5th, allowing players to freeze time and manipulate temporal mechanics as they see fit. The dragon-riding Scalebound from Platinum Games, first announced at E3 last year, got its first gameplay trailer, giving us a better idea of what to expect. You'll be able to train your own dragon and fight alongside him, which looks pretty sweet. You'll also be able to fight alongside your friends and their dragons. Scalebound launches in fall 2016. Minecraft developer Mojang, recently acquired by Microsoft, will release their long-awaited new game, Cobalt, this October. Unlike Minecraft, it's a side-scrolling shooter, and hopefully it can live up to the hype. If you can't wait, a beta test is available now on Windows 10. Gamescom is the world's largest gaming event that's open to the public, with more than 300,000 people attending. It's happening right now in Cologne, Germany, and wraps up this Sunday. Bravo, Microsoft. Lots of stuff for us to talk about today. Here to help me do that is my pal, Marissa Roberto.
Hello.
Halo Wars 2 was the big and one more thing at the end of their press conference.
I like those ones. I like the and one more thing.
And it is a big surprise because Halo Wars 1 was cool, but it was more of like this cult classic type favorite type thing.
Yeah, with RTSs though, with real-time strategy games, I feel like they're really just targeting that one niche audience.
Yeah.
So
they can have legs though. That's the thing
Yeah.
about them, is you don't expect like state-of-the-art graphics. You just want really tight gameplay, and it was a solid title. But I think that this is part of the Xbox One, Windows 10 kind of, we're all in this together kind of idea that Microsoft is pushing forward, and this will be a really fun PC game. I don't know how it will work on the console, although Creative Assembly is a pretty phenomenal developer, so I'm very excited. Obviously, I'm a huge Crackdown fan, so Crackdown 3, totally addicted. I can hear the orb sound in my head right now.
Right, of course. Yeah, you have to be a mature adult though to even watch the trailer.
Oh yeah, it's violent, but it always was. It was this over-the-top comedic, like comic book style kind of violence.
Yeah.
But I'm also really hyped about Scalebound because I love Platinum. I think they're a phenomenal studio.
They really are. These are the kind of games that just excite me because I know that I'm going to be intrigued enough to keep playing because the humor is there for me, and I don't know, I like a little violence too, so also getting to play a character that you would never be like in real life, and that's what video games give me and offer me. We've
also got Quantum Break. Sean Ashmore, Canadian actor, bravo to Sean Ashmore, we're fans of his.
We are.
And so he's going to be starring in the game and the show because it's both a live action thing and a video game at the same time.
He's killing it lately.
Remedy's an amazing studio too, so I'm psyched to see how they put all of this stuff together. I think that Microsoft is having a fantastic year. It's a revitalized Microsoft, that's for sure. But right now we've got to kick it into some football of a different kind of flavor. This is called Blood Bowl 2.
I'm so excited.
The ultimate battle. Good against
When you hear a game name like Blood Bowl, you obviously want to jump in. Now, this is the second one, so obviously people have been enjoying the Blood Bowl. Tell me all about Blood Bowl 2.
Okay, Blood Bowl 2 is a brand new episode of our franchise, so we remade everything from scratch, but we also want to please newcomers. Many people are interested by sport with orcs and elves and this stuff, so we are trying to make it cool to watch and interesting to play for them.
People like football, obviously, especially in North America, so I feel like it's easy for them to understand the mechanics of the game, but are there certain rules that maybe people should know, especially jumping in for the first time?
Blood Bowl is a strategic game, so it's turn-based and you move along the grid. It's similar to football, but it's much more simpler. You just have to pick up the ball and bring it in the opponent's touchdown zone. So it's quite easy to understand the rules, but one important thing is called a turnover. Anytime you miss something, your turn will instantly stop, so you have to be careful and make the safe action first. It's where the biggest strategy lies in our game.
Pass to a black orc? Black orcs shouldn't care about the ball. Touchdown!
So there are obviously characters in here as well that add to the strategy. So who are we meeting on the field? Who is in our team?
It's coming out with 8 different races. When you first start, you create your own team and you choose which races you want to play. For example, you have Skaven. They run very fast, but they are totally squishy. So at the end of the match, you will have scored a lot of touchdowns, but you will also finish with only 2 or 3 players available left. Each race also have a different kind of players. You have the big ones, the small ones, the quarterback, you know. And match after match, this player will gain experience points, and you will be able to level them up the way you want as a coach.
Can you start your own season? Do you have a season, or can you just jump into games individually?
You can play just single match, friendly match, if you want no consequences, but there is a huge league system. It's how it is called in our universe, the league. It's competition, and you play against either AI in a solo play or online against other players. You have a ladder system, you can make a round robin, and all this different kind of competition.
I just love the fantasy setting on a football field. That's the main seller for me. Thanks so much for this. Now that's what I call fantasy football.
Looking forward to playing that game. Stick around. Fantastic Four is in the hizzy when we come back.
So cool.
You guys ready to have your minds blown?
Welcome back to EP Daily.
You know, if you've ever wondered what Ben Silverman and Victor Lucas, what their chemistry was like when they first started reviewing things together, well, you're about to find out.
Oh, baby, strap in, because it's time for Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer, a video game.
Why do you have to say strap it in?
Guys, they're getting ready to watch.
Gross.
We're taking a look at Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer for the Wii. Wow. This is awful.
I don't know what the opposite of fantastic is. I don't know if it's photastic or untastic. This is both of those. This is terrible.
The Untastic Four.
The Untastic Four. So bad.
Not presented by Stan Lee.
Right.
Stan Lee's like, doo-doo,
I don't have anything
back
to do with
away.
this one, yeah.
I don't want to touch that.
Remember X-Men? Wasn't that good?
Yeah, seriously, I know. Every time I see any comic book game that sucks, I'm really pissed off.
It's mystifying, isn't it?
Because they have such a I mean, every other game out there rips from the comic world all the time.
Totally.
And then when you have the actual licenses and Marvel's sort of participating and you get the movie studios behind you, a lot of that kind of design work is already done, right? I mean, it's there for you. Just go ahead and use that and make some cool stuff happen.
It doesn't really even follow the plot of the film that directly. It's like some other weird tale. It starts off at the beginning of some scroll lair.
It's always got to be underground with the scrolls.
Right
and
off
lots
the bat.
of the same level design and the same bad guys just popping out of thin air. I love that, by the way.
When they just appear?
Yeah, I love that. It's fantastic. Yeah. It's just like reality.
You almost said it was fantastic.
I almost did, yeah.
It's untastic. That's the word of the day.
Okay, walk me through this again, Reed. How does what's going on underground have anything to do with all that craziness up there?
I mean, the graphics are lousy, and I don't just mean...
They stretched it. It's 4x3. I mean, they didn't even go into 16:9. I don't even know if it was progressive, but it looked like crap.
Yeah.
The moves don't really register either. Didn't you find? Like, you can do some swinging uppercut things, but you never really know what's going on. And then when you get surrounded by bad guys, it's utter madness. You don't know who you are on screen, what character you are, what damage you're doing, or what this actually means. You know, it's just flailing.
I'm gonna pen a new phrase. I think it's called motion mashing. So you're just kind of freaking out in the air, just kind of playing air drums and stuff.
Yeah. You know who would be awesome at this game?
Who's that?
Animal from the Muppets.
He would be really good
He
at
would be
this.
fantastic.
Yeah, or someone with some sort of, I mean, maybe if you drink a ton of coffee, take a lot of cold medicine, and just kind of freak out, you could do pretty good. There's no real rhyme or reason to any of it.
Yeah. So what are you going to give Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer for the week?
Well, I think it deserves the countdown. I think it's going to start with a 4. We're going to go to a 3.
You're gonna go to...
And then peace out. I think it's getting a 2. This is not a good game.
I'm going to give it a 3 out of 10.
Great job, guys. A little EP trivia for you. After the shoot that day, they both went out, shopped for cologne, and then had pizza.
Oh, that's sweet. Kate, if you think that chemistry was good, get a load of this. Here's me and Vic with a new Fantastic Four movie.
So they tried to do something different with the Fantastic Four. They wanted to modernize it. They wanted to sort of tamper with the backstory and some of the characterizations that we've seen before, even on screen before.
Yeah.
With this new Fantastic Four concoction.
You guys ready to have your minds blown?
And it is terrible.
Oh, well, you're spoiling it.
It is an absolute atrocity. I was so bored. I mean, this should have been called the Tedious Four, or the boring Go to Sleep Four, or the You Don't Need NyQuil Anymore Four, because you could just watch this movie and pass right out. And
I was nodding off, for
it
sure.
was such an abomination. The Abominable Four is what this should have been called.
Hour, for sure. Oh my God, forget it. The whole thing. The whole thing is really boring. But let's try to find the good in this for a second here. We have really great actors, okay? But it just becomes even more disappointing because they have nothing good to say.
Nothing to do.
Awful.
There's no lift. There's no humor. I mean, Johnny Storm is an indelible, fantastic character that's supposed to represent lightness and joy and fun. And Chris Evans was terrific, was great. I couldn't help but think of him in the previous Fantastic Four movies. He was a good Johnny Storm, you know, and this Michael B. Jordan guy, we know he's fantastic, but he has no lines, no love, nothing to do, and it's all of them. They're all so boring and dry, and it was like a terrible science class, this thing.
When I grow up, I want to be the first person to teleport himself.
Even if you could build it.
I've already built it.
Is it next to your flying car?
The whole movie looks like it was shot in a gymnasium, that they, you know, put some colored lights on and some tubes and things like that, and then...
And you can always tell when they were acting with the green screen, the actors.
Yeah, so much green screen. So it was a green... You know what? They probably cleared out the machinery and then put up a green screen and then brought the machinery back and then put them in front of machinery.
That was hilarious. The moment at the end there where Michael B. Jordan's character just walked in oh, that's my area over there, and you just look at what they're looking at. It's like, well, what area, dude? You clearly are just looking at a green screen, just pointing at something. There's so much of that.
This was an absolute exercise in frustration. It's so hard to watch. I love these characters. I think they're fantastic comic creations. The characters that, you know, launched Marvel in the 60s, and they deserve love. They deserve to be represented well on screen. And I think part of the problem is, first of all, the script is god-awful because there is no moment of levity or lightness or fun or humor in this thing.
This guy doesn't take orders well.
Yeah, especially from people who say, I don't take orders well.
And the other part of the blame is you cast a bunch of kids that aren't famous yet, really. You know, they've got a little bit of fame. People are starting to know their names. They're percolating a little bit. Okay, sure.
Kate Mara. I mean, this is the biggest thing she's ever done, though, for sure.
Yeah, they're not Robert Downey Jr., not Christian Bale. You know, like, you need people that are going to carry the weight of the responsibility of these roles.
But also challenge the script writers, challenge the people behind it.
We're going to sort of feel, you know, like we are along for the ride with these people that we kind of trust and respect. Yeah. And I felt like the original cast, kind of terrible earlier Fantastic Four movies.
Like Jessica Alba.
Yeah, they did a better job at sort of being the characters and creating a little bit of hope and faith that they're going to do something pretty decent with those characters. None of these actors really do that. They're it's the actors working with a really tepid, lame script and like no real destinations that these heroes get to be heroic in. Horrible. 1 out of 10 for me.
Oh my God.
What are you giving it?
Giving it 2.
Great job, guys. A little behind-the-scenes trivia for you. After the shoot that day, Marissa and Vic went out, shopped for cologne for each other, and then bought each other pizza.
No, we did not. We did not do that, actually. So I missed out on the pizza, not so much the cologne. Don't go anywhere, because the gift is after the break.
Welcome back to EP Daily. You know, sometimes it seems like we only review superhero movies on this show. I've complained to Victor Lucas. He continues to ignore me. But this movie, it's a little bit outside the comfort zone. It's called The Gift. It stars Jason Bateman, who I love, and it's directed and also stars Joel Edgerton. Here's the review.
Here, this.
Welcome home, smiley face Gordo.
It's not often you see Jason Bateman's name associated with a thriller, but that's what we've got here with The Gift. This is written, produced, directed, and starring Joel Edgerton and the other male lead.
Yeah, he really made a baby for himself.
And Rebecca Hall is in there. What'd you think of this movie?
Let's just be honest. When we sat down, I'm like, wait, what are we seeing again?
What day is
What
this?
day is it? What are we seeing? Okay, great. And then as the movie started, I'm like, oh no, is this a scary movie? Because that's how everything is happening here. It's very slow. The camera motion is very slow, and you know that something might come out or pop out at you at certain points.
Gordo, hi.
It's a Blumhouse tradition. This is the Blumhouse studio that has produced this thing, and they've been doing horror movies. They did The Purge. They've been doing these kind of schlocky B-movie jump scare type movies. Yeah, and they've been doing all right.
Right, so they've added that formula here. And the thing is with this movie is that it does have those thriller moments for sure, but it takes such a long time to get to those moments. This is a very slow burn.
Yeah.
You're spending a lot of time with this couple, so Jason Bateman and Rebecca Hall play a couple in this movie, and their relationship seems a little off, and you're trying to uncover that. You're trying to discover, basically with the wife, what the deal is with her husband and why she's so sad, and you're just kind of piecing that together. And the acting here is phenomenal. Like you do want to buy the story because they're so great.
Gordo? Did he just leave us here?
That's true. I mean, I did feel that it's kind of like a three-hander. There are, you know, supporting characters and things like that in here, but most of the movie, we're spending time with Jason Bateman and Rebecca Hall, or, you know, every once in a while, Joel Edgerton's character pops in here. And the thing would fall apart if Jason Bateman and Rebecca Hall's performances weren't so on point. They're really fascinating. They feel truthful. They feel committed. And Bateman, you know, who we traditionally kind of see as this comedic foil, he's usually kind of a straight guy. We don't really get to see him in this particular light, and he goes to some pretty dark places in this movie.
He does.
And I thought he did a tremendous job.
He does. Well, the thing about Jason Bateman is that he can really play an and you buy it. Look, I don't want to spoil too much of this movie because you uncover a lot of things about Jason Bateman's character as you move through, so I don't want to spoil too much. But I did see a bit of his character that he played in Bad Words. He does this really well.
Convincing,
like he's almost so good that I wonder if he's really like this in real life. Like that's how good he is.
Really? Same grade? What year did you graduate? Hey, honey. Excuse me 1 second.
There is not one character out of this threesome here that actually fits into some kind of stereotype or some kind of hole, because you are often dancing back and forth between, do you like this person, do you not like this person? And that's why I was always involved. That's why I always wanted to keep watching and find out what happens next, because I was so intrigued to know where I would end at the end of this movie with these characters. Who would I love? Who would I hate? And I honestly, I'm walking away with questions. And I don't want to spoil too much, but I think that's a good thing. It's a good thing to the movie because you never really expect what's going to happen next. And though it's not one of those things that's like out of reach, I feel like it's also a story that we can all kind of relate to.
It's very human, and it's very accessible, and I think that there's lots of hooks in there for people to understand. I mean, basically the big message is don't be a bully, you know, and be careful what your actions reap. I like how that story unfolded, and I liked hanging with these characters, even as broken and fractured and psychologically scarred as they were. I thought, as portrayed by these three actors, this was actually a pretty good time. It does drag. I said at one point, like, how many days have we been here with these people?
I know, it's getting a little awkward. I feel like we've overstayed our welcome.
Because it almost is invasive, right? Like we're eavesdropping on a lot of real private conversations, and I think that is kind of remarkable, especially from this Formula studio. I guess I didn't expect all that much.
Why was Simon running a background check without telling me? Robin, why don't you just ask him?
Kind of reminds me a little bit of 1 Hour Photo.
Yeah.
It just has this
Gets
weird.
under your skin, yeah.
It gets under your skin, has this weird tone to it. It's not something that I would watch again, but it's definitely something that I think people should see.
I think it's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you going to give The Gift?
It gets a 7.
It gets a 7.5 from me.
Ooh.
Note to self, Scott, go to see that movie as soon as possible. Did I just say that out loud? Coming up next is the Twitter question of the day after this.
If you want more EP, go to our website, epn.tv, for bonus content and full episodes. We're also on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to EP Daily. It is now time for the best part of today's show. It is a Twitter question of the day. This one comes from Zach Amel. He is Snorkel Boy 99. I guess 98 was taken.
Yeah.
He asks, who would win in a fight, Scott or Marissa? What
Whoa. Well, this is, I don't know if you know this about Marissa, but she's a fiery Italian. She's got a lot of passion, a lot of fury.
I do have a lot of fury.
When called upon.
Yeah, and Scott likes to push my buttons, I think.
Yeah, so I think you would absolutely slice and dice Mr. Jones. I think the claws would come out Wolverine style.
Yeah, I think so too. Well, just because he'll do that bicep slap that he always does, which I cannot stand.
Yeah.
So I just.
So you would kill him, and then, but he would make us all feel really bad about it as well, right? And
that's true.
He's
Yeah,
like,
he would
Vic,
milk it.
why did you just let her beat me up?
I know. He would just guilt everybody. It's true. Yeah. Well, I don't think that he would. I don't think that he would actually hurt me. We're just pretending. I think in a video game though, he would kick my butt.
Depends if he was interested in the game or not.
Right, that's true, because I kick his butt in Mario Kart all the
Yeah,
time.
and you would crush him in Smash Brothers.
Completely.
Good question. If you've got a question, head to our website, epn.tv, where you can also watch full episodes of this show.
We've got more coming for you in the next episode of EP Daily, including Scott's interview about SteamWorld Heist.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.
EP would like to thank its sponsors, Nintendo, Xbox. EP's mobile coverage is brought to you by Gameloft, makers of Asphalt 8 Airborne, which you can play on your Android or iOS device for free right now.
So how has the gameplay evolved from SteamWorld Dig? What's different?
Everything is different. So this is where Dig was like a mining platform adventure. This is not platforming at all. It's a turn-based combat game, but you have the same perspective. You see everything. It's a 2D game that you see from the side, and it looks just marvelous.